story. I said we start off with the Disney story first. So, 100 million subscribers in 16 months. Initially, they projected to have 60 to 90 million subscribers by 2024. They are way off. 3 years ahead of their projection. They hit 100 million. And a company spokesperson said Disney expects to hit, ready for this number, 300 to 350 million subscribers by 2024. Watch them miss that mark as well, right, if they miss that mark. It took Netflix 10 years to accumulate 100 million subscribers after launching in 2007, whereas Disney Plus took less than a year and a half. And in October, Disney Plus pulled Dumbo, Peter Pan, and The Aristocrats, amongst other films, from kids' profiles because of racist stereotypes depicted in these films. Let me get this straight. So Dumbo, Peter Pan, and Aristocrats, I actually like all of those movies, but they pulled it out. And the film's removal from kids' profiles comes amid a nationwide campaign to slap disclaimers on or outright ban old movies, TV programs, and books deemed racist and offensive. Anyways, 2 different topics in the same subject here with Disney. Tom, what are your thoughts with Disney against Netflix?
Disney Plus, you know what I think this is? I think this is a leadership case study here. And I'll tell you why I think that. The guy running Disney Plus is a guy named Michael Paul. I met Michael Paul when he was at Fox in Los Angeles, California, and I was at GoTV. Michael Paul's a very impressive guy, was an absolute leader. He leaves Fox and gets recruited to go run video for Amazon. So let's follow the career trajectory and look at the leadership. He's up at Amazon, runs video, and then he gets recruited to Disney, I think it's in New York, to come run Disney Plus. When I saw that, I felt, and it's Michael Paul, P-A-U-L-L, great guy.
Double L? What?
Yeah, double L. It's the Paul family with the extra L. And so I really was impressed by the guy when we would talk there. We would talk about where's GoTV going to go, where I think it should go, what's going on with Fox. And we a lot of times, I just connected with him professionally. We weren't next door neighbors or anything, but grabbed a couple lunches with him. Always very sharp. And I kind of noticed, what was going on. I think this is a leadership thing. This is not somebody that grew up in Disney with production film. This is a guy that cut his chops with a stop at Amazon, and it doesn't surprise me that he's driving it this way at all. I thought the blending was good. I thought the ESPN Plus they put in there and the way they put it all together. They recreated the cable company, boom, and he's driving it, and I'm not surprised by this. I'm not surprised at all. I'm a Hulu subscriber from like day one.
Do you think they're going to hit the 300 to 350, or you think they're going to surpass it and hit $500 million?
I don't know. It all depends on what, you got Canada, you have the other markets. It's the take rate in foreign markets, because you've only got how many 100 million homes in America, and 335
right, you're limited.
Million?
Yeah, but it's homes. Homes is different than population, right? So
right.
If you count 4 to 1, so we're dealing with only 100 million in U.S., let's just say, or 90 million in U.S. You have to figure out a way to expand internationally, get a number like that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But what's happening in the U.S., I think they're just sucking the air out of the room. YouTube TV didn't get going fast enough. They had a head start. They had a lot of things going on.
Question for you. Can they go into China? Can Disney Plus go into China? Can you check to see if Disney Plus is in China right now? Can they go into China? Because, look, kids watch Disney from all parts of the world. So I'm curious to know if that is a market they're considering that they're going to get into, that's going to give them a chunk of that business right there of 350. Adam, what's on your mind?
Disney made the It's a Small World, after all, famous. We've all been there. We know it's a small world. We're all interconnected. What I got to appreciate about the BizDoc is you're looking at this story and you see some of these numbers, and we'll kind of get into it. But of course, Tom Ellsworth knows the guy, Michael Paul, with 2 L's, that I met him back at a party and we were doing a video conference. Like, that kind of insight is actually very impressive. Like, no one would know. But speaking of leadership, we forget. We're thinking of these massive companies, but no one understands, there's a guy named Reed Hastings, and this is his philosophy, and this is the book that he wrote, and this is why Netflix became that company. And, there's a story behind the story. And what you're saying is Disney, the name of Disney is obviously a popular name and people get it. But no, there's this dude named Michael Paul with 2 L's, and here's the deal, and here's where he came from. But let me kick it over to you, Pat. I've been pretty vocal about this because we've covered, when Quibi didn't, and I was like, what the hell's Quibi at the time? You said something yesterday, like the big three, hospitality, what was the big three that you said regarding?
You had airlines and you had restaurants.
Okay.
It's the ones that got hit heaviest by COVID.
During the pandemic, you kind of sort of gave it its own moniker, the big three. What's the big three when it comes to streaming? Obviously, Netflix is numero uno, right? But Disney is right there. It's coming up on its heels, so it seems. Then you got Amazon Prime. Mm-hmm. How many players? Is there a big three? Is there going to be a big five?
Pull it up. Top OTTs in the world. Top OTT.
Because you can only have that's a great many. Question. How many of these can you have? Like when Quibi failed, I was like, yeah, obviously, because there's freaking 10 other things they're competing with. You got Hulu Live Sports.
Okay, there you go. Oh, HBO's one as well. That's right. That's the one that you got to be looking out for because HBO is competing in a marketplace.
And you have so many of these that you've never even heard of.
Type it in the U.S. Top OTT, streaming platforms in U.S. Look at that. Do you see that? Wow. You know what Kai's doing over the weekend?
Kai's
just
learning
getting better.
To spell, ladies and gentlemen.
The fingers of lightning.
That's already a month old, but we'll see what that says. So YouTube is considered OTT for Netflix,
so YouTube
Hulu,
is in the mix.
Amazon, Vimeo.
But I think you have to look at this as the multi-channel because the YouTube here is YouTube Red and a few things like that. Just to access. People intentionally buying it. So everybody thought. And by the way, I did a case study on Netflix. Remember, I talked about that Netflix without all the Disney programming going off the air, going to have some challenges. Netflix is holding its own and even raised prices $1. So it's Netflix for designated. You have to look at it two sides. The live TV side. Hulu Live TV is really good. And then Netflix is the premium programming, going back to House of Cards and things that they built themselves. Although House of Cards came out of Britain.
I got a question for you guys. Here's a question for you. What's more impressive? Disney going from 0 to 100 million in 16 months or Netflix going from 0 to 100 million in 10 years?
Well, I think you would argue that Netflix was the organic growth entrepreneurially on, thank you, Adam, Reed Hastings and his leadership. And then Disney kind of took their own stuff and then bought up the rest of the air out of the room. They bought the libraries. So there's your acquisition strategy.
What's tougher though? What's tougher between?
What's more impressive? From the biz.
I think it's tougher what Netflix did over 10 years.
I
think that's much tougher.
Yeah.
I mean, Disney had, let's face it, all the money in the room.
They have a monopoly.
Yeah.
And they have content galore from how many years?
Well, yeah, and they bought the stack from Fox. They got the Marvel. They got the Star Wars. I mean, so they bought everything.
Yeah. How much credit here goes to Iger? How much does Iger get credit for what he did during his 15, 16 years of doing what he did and buying out Star Wars, buying out Fox, buying out how much of the credit goes to Iger?
I like Bob. I don't agree with him on everything that he says and does where he crosses over in the politics and whatnot. But I think he doesn't have to apologize that was the hand he was played. I have Disney, I've got money, and I'm going to go buy it. I don't think you apologize for that. His job was to grow and to deliver for the shareholders, and he did it. Now, is that as impressive as what Reed Hastings did? No, but I think in the chair that he inherited with the hand he was dealt, I think he did a good job.
Yeah. I say Reed Hastings, kudos to the guy for building something that you have nothing. You have to create content. You have to go get people to come and visit you have to get, hey, let's go. What do you got here? Netflix, 204 million, Prime, 150, Spotify, 144. I can't read the next one. Is it Tencent, 120?
Yeah.
And then it's, what's the next one at 119? Okay, and then you have Disney at 95, Yoku at 90 million. Can you make it bigger? I actually want to see who's next after that because I want to know how many of these we're using.
Yeah,
go a little bit more. Do one more layer. Do one more. Okay, that's good. So Disney 95, Yoku 90, Apple Music 68, Music Amazon 55. I don't know who the next one is. 52 million.
7E. What does that say?
Vio and then Hulu 39. Hulu's only at 39 million. Eros and then YouTube Premium 30 million. Sirius 34 million. Disney. Another one right there. You got Showtime, Paramount, HBO Max is only 17 million. I thought for sure HBO would have been a bigger number than that. because a lot of stuff you're seeing lately going straight to HBO Max.
But remember, you take Disney Plus, plus the Hulu, plus the ESPN Plus, plus the Disney.
Yes.
So from
No question
Hotstar.
about it.
Well, this was essentially my point, and this is why actually I kind of disagree with you guys on the Netflix thing. Yeah, Disney had sort of a lead in the race, but look at how much competition is out there. Like we don't even know half these names we're talking about. I don't even know that one. What's this? There's just so much competition. So yes, it's Disney. Yes, it's a big, behemoth type of company. But you still have to compete in the marketplace. You still have to have a good product. You still need to have.
Adam, what did you drink this morning?
I'm
what
all
were you
over the map,
smoking this
baby.
morning?
Adam,
what
do you not
was in that
understand the
pill?
power of
Can we
Hang on,
check
hang
the
on.
ingredient
I'm just
in the pill
saying.
that was
I
given
gotta
to this guy in the morning?
Okay, all right. Here's the deal. The first stock that I've ever owned in my life was Disney.
Okay.
My grandma bought me like 20 shares of Disney when I was like born.
Yeah.
So I still have them. They're the only individual
seriously
stocks.
have 'em?
Yeah, I still have them. So I mean, she probably bought them for like a nickel back in 1980, and now they're worth
cool.
a decent amount of money.
Is it a decent amount of money?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like probably 30 grand.
Get out of here.
Yeah, like pretty cool,
She
right?
bought you 20 shares and it's worth 30 grand
Maybe
today.
not. Maybe 26 grand. Something like I don't know. I
That's
don't know the exact
awesome.
number. Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
pretty
that's
cool.
great to do that
Yeah,
for-
thanks, Grandma.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, buy and hold,
Yeah.
hold. So point is, I got a little soft spot for Disney. So when I see Disney kind of doing all right,
Then the
it's a
truth
small world.
comes
Yeah,
out.
all right.
Listen,
I'm biased.
let's go
okay?
find Adam
You guys-
Cinderella already.
Hang on.
I think that's what. By the honesty, how many times
Yeah.
have you seen Cinderella? Be honest. 50,
maybe-
60?
Recently,
I'm talking last week. Just last
in the
week.
last week, probably 20 times.
I saw Cinderella like.
I'm
4
looking for that
times.
slipper, baby.
You got
Where's
you
Paul?
got 2 daughters.
Where's
You-
other Paul? I saw Cinderella like 3 times. He opened for Poison, right? Is that right?
Pour some sugar on.
So
Anyway, I'm just impressed with what's going on in Disney. Back to you. And my last point, and then I'm gonna turn it over to BizDoc. Speaking of competition, speaking that there's all these different competitors out there.
Yeah.
You know, you brought up the big 3. We talk about, you have Uber and you have Lyft. You've got Amazon, you've got Walmart. In the streaming world, there's a couple dozen names that you have to compete with. So to be in the top 3 or even the top 5 in that category is very impressive.
Any final thoughts there, Tom, before we move on this topic?
I got to make one salute to Reed Hastings and his management team. When he came out, I look at who wanted you dead. HBO wanted him dead. He's putting movies in the hands of consumers. That's HBO's realm. Showtime, Cinemax, all those, they wanted him dead. And yet he was getting these, Blockbuster, remember Blockbuster Video, Jim Keyes, they wanted him dead. So you have to look at these incumbents that were massive when he came out there, the number of people that wanted him to fail when they had less than nothing. And here they are. The dust is cleared, and a lot of those names I mentioned are gone or demuted in their influence. So that's what I look at Netflix.
Here's my final question to you, Pat.
Yeah.
How many of these streaming services do you have in the Bet David household?
I couldn't even tell you. So we obviously don't
More
have...
than 5?
We have Disney. We have
Okay.
Netflix. We have Amazon Prime.
Yep.
I think those are the 3 that we
That's
have.
it. You have 3.
I think we have 3.
Okay,
of them.
how many
But
in-
now ask Mario.
Mario over there.
Mario owns underground, streaming services. Mario owns pretty much every single thing that you can see on streaming service. He owns all of them.
Why does
he
Mario have
subscribes
this?
to all of them. Why? I don't know. Mario is a content guy.
He's an underground kind of guy.
He's an underground content type of guy.
I think I got like 8.
See assimilation
You have
between
8, Paul?
I think so. I got
8 streaming services.
HBO Max,
Well-
Apple TV, Netflix, Amazon Prime,
Yeah.
Stars. What else?
Keith Sweat's OTT.
Keith
and
Sweat's
Keith Sweat,
YouTube
body
channel.
over my body.
Your body babe.
Paul, would you consider going down to
Paul
3?
Sweat.
No.
You wouldn't. Would
No.
you go down to
Well,
5?
first of all,
And Peacock just opened up.
yeah.
They
You're
got some
talking
stuff.
about a
peacocking
guy.
over there,
You're
Paul.
talking
You are
about a
definitely
guy.
peacocking.
You're talking about a guy that when the movies were open, Paul, how many movies were watching every week at the movie theater? Honestly,
3.
minimum every week.
Yeah.
No
So
matter
that's
what.
in addition to all your OTT or
I wasn't streaming as much, to be honest.
Paul, when you watch 3
You're
movies,
addicted,
do
bro.
you get the popcorn and an icy, or you just go watch the movie and you leave?
I would rotate.
You will rotate
Sometimes, yes, I would just go
3
in.
times a week, no matter what. I mean,
Yeah.
do they even make 3 movies every week? Like, is there 3?
Not anymore. That's why I haven't.
Yeah,
I've honestly seen probably 1 a month now.
Okay, so if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.